Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to review Disney100 R2-D2 from the Star Wars series. This Tsum is a brand new Tsum for the month of November in 2023, and it's also part of the Disney 100 anniversary celebration. So let's get into it and take a look. So for this Tsum, it is paired up with Disney100 Woody, and it's actually a lot easier to get Disney100 R2-D2 during the lucky time. There's going to be another opportunity at the end of this month in November to also get Disney100 R2-D2 if you haven't gotten a copy of him yet and you're trying to get a copy. His ability description is start fever time and clear Tsums in the center, and actually all of the Disney100 Tsums will start fever time. So if you don't have a good Tsum that will start fever time, this is a good opportunity to get one. In order to activate Disney100 R2-D2's ability, you're going to need to clear a total of 14 copies of him off the screen, and this is on the lower end. So you could expect that you're going to be able to activate a lot of abilities per game with playing Disney100 R2-D2. Its minimum score is 110 with a maximum score of 894. So nothing amazing here. You wouldn't necessarily be using this Tsum to get a high score or anything like that. But if you do want to get this Tsum to skill level 6, you're only going to need to get 29 copies of him. So this is on the lower end. If you want to get a skill level 6 Tsum and you don't have one yet, this might be an opportunity for you to get one. And before I go any further, if you guys are enjoying this type of content where I review Tsums, do monthly leaks, review the pickup capsules and the selection boxes, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your subscription really helps me out a lot. And if you're already subscribed to this channel, thank you so much. Alright, so let's do a deeper dive on Disney100 R2-D2's ability. At skill level 1, the skill range is going to be extra small, but once you get it to skill level 6, the skill range is going to be extra large. And this is in reference to how big the center clear is going to be. The higher the skill level, the bigger that center area is going to be. And there's actually one cool thing about this animation that is completely different than any Tsum that's available right now, which I'll get into a little bit later. Alright, so let's take a closer look at all 6 of the abilities and all 6 of the skill levels. So at skill level 1, the skill range is going to be extra small, small for skill level 2, and for skill level 3, it's going to be medium. There is one cool thing about the animation, which I'll show you guys a little bit later, but the only major difference here is that skill range. So the higher the skill level, the bigger that circle is going to be as you level them up. So when it comes to strategy, when you're playing Disney100 R2-D2, the main thing really is to make sure that center area is full of Tsums before you activate the ability. And because the clear area is going to be in the middle, you want to avoid any gaps in the middle and also any bubbles that are in the middle. So which leads to my number 2 tip is making sure that the bubbles don't get in the way. If you have a bubble in the center of the screen, it's worth a couple of seconds to burst the bubble before you activate the ability. By doing this, you're going to get a higher chain and a higher score as well. So you definitely want to do that before you activate the ability. And really, Disney100 R2-D2 is as simple as that. And also keep in mind that once you activate the ability, it's going to start fever time if your fever is not already activated. So if you're really good at multitasking while you're playing this game and you can see that your fever bar is about to end and also your R2-D2 is almost full, you might want to give it a couple of seconds before you activate the ability, so that way you could go back into fever time. The objective of this game is really to stay in fever time as much as possible. By doing that, you're going to have a longer gameplay, earning you more coins and a higher score as well. Alright, so let's take a look at the abilities activated at the same time. So here it is in full speed. You'll see that R2-D2 will come out and burst a bunch of Tsums. So I mentioned earlier that during the animation, this is the only Tsum that I'm aware of that has a different animation at different skill level. Are you guys able to tell? So look at the screen here. At skill level 1, only Princess Leia came out of the screen, whereas for skill level 2 and 3, C-3PO also came out, and now there's a different, character on the screen and bursts a bunch of different Tsums. If you take a look at the skill range here, it is bigger at skill level 2 and skill level 3. Skill level 1, there is only one. At the higher skill levels, there's going to be multiple characters, which I will show you a little bit later, but take a look at the chains here. For skill level 1, I got a chain of 16. Skill level 2, I got a chain of 20, and at skill level 3, I got a chain of 22. So this is going to vary depending on how you set up your screen. If you have a bubble in the way, that's going to change. And also if you have any gaps, you're also going to get a smaller one. But if you have a big Tsum in the middle, you're going to get a higher score. So these numbers aren't going to be fixed. It's going to vary every single time you activate the ability. Moving on to the higher skill level at skill level 4, 5, and 6. Now, because these higher skill level, it's going to have a bigger skill range, you definitely want to pay attention to when you activate the ability. At skill level 4, the skill range is going to be large. Skill level 5, the skill range is going to be extra large, and extra large for skill level 6. So you can safely assume that skill level 6, it's going to have a bigger burst area. So you definitely want to make sure that the screen is set up properly before activating the ability. Which means that likely if you have a bubble towards the bottom center area, you're going to want to clear those as well. Whereas for skill level 1, you have a wider area where you can leave the bubble if you want to do that, because at these higher skill level, the burst area is going to be a lot bigger. Therefore, you have to pay a little bit more attention on where the bubbles are, as well as what zooms are on the screen before you activate the ability. Okay, so let's take a look at the abilities activated at the same time. Like I mentioned earlier, this Disney100 R2-D2 will have a different animation at various skill levels. So at skill level 4, as you saw there was a total of 3 characters that came out. So very different from the first 3 skill levels. So for skill level 4 and 5, we also have Pilot Luke that joined the animation. Whereas for skill level 6, you also see Obi-Wan Kenobi show up as well. So at the higher skill level, you're going to have a total of 4 characters. So this is a representation of how big the area is going to be when this burst area is going to play out. So I don't know of any other characters in the game that will have different animation at various skill levels. But if you know of any, make sure you comment below and let me know. So this is going to be the skill range. As you can see at skill level 6, it's almost encompassing the entire screen. So that's why I mentioned earlier that you definitely want to make sure that at the higher skill level, there aren't any bubbles in the way. You pretty much want to just burst the bubble before activating the ability because it takes up a majority of the screen. Unless your bubble is on the corner of the screen, then maybe you could leave it there, but otherwise you definitely want to burst it before activating the ability. In terms of chains, for skill level 4, I got a chain of 25, 29 for skill level 5, and then finally for skill level 6, I got a total of 34. So definitely a big jump there for skill level 6. However, it's not necessarily the biggest burst that you would get from a burst zoom. If you could get into the 40s, that would be considered really good. But unfortunately, R2-D2 just doesn't perform that way. And because the burst or the chain is not that large or that long during the animation, that means that you're going to get less coins and less score as well. So overall, I think Disney100 R2-D2 is not assumed that you really need to get. If you're really struggling with those fever missions and you weren't able to get any of the fever zooms in the past, then you definitely want to get at least 1 copy of Disney100 R2-D2. But otherwise, I would recommend you to skip this zoom because he doesn't get a high score and not really that great for coins either. So not necessarily going to be a very effective zoom for this game. Alright, but regardless, I want to show you the results for all 6 of these gameplays that I had going into it. And also keep in mind that these were my first attempts, which means that the score is not necessarily that high because these are low level R2-D2s. If your R2-D2 is level 50, your score is going to be a lot higher than mine. At skill level 1, I ended up with 686 coins with 3.2 million points. So not that great at all. It's actually pretty bad in terms of coins. You could pretty much use any happiness zoom and get a higher score than that. And at skill level 6, I got 8.4 million. Also pretty disappointing for skill level 6. But more disappointingly, I only got 2,514 coins. For a lot of zooms that's available, you could probably get the same amount of coin earnings as skill level 3 and skill level 4. And so that's why I don't recommend you to spend your coins and definitely don't spend your skill tickets on Disney100 R2-D2. With that being said, it's still a really cool Star Wars zoom. A lot of people will still want to collect this zoom because they're huge Star Wars fans. But if you're not and you don't really care about Star Wars themed zooms, then I highly recommend you to skip this zoom and just save your coins and save your skill tickets for something that's better. So that's my review of Disney100 R2-D2. I hope that you guys found this video helpful and also entertaining. And if you'd like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.